Here we have one of the GOP House scoundrel kingpins, now infamous for being suspected of looking the other way when young boys were being molested. He is nonetheless risen to a position of power in the Republican House of Representatives, currently being led by the most feckless speaker in history, Kevin McCarthy. Jimbo here talks like an auctioneer, spewing forth torrents of words in rapid-fire staccato, always trying to inform us about what is evil about those horrible Democrats and what is wrong with America and how he and his dimwit house friends are going to fix everything by launching very fruitful investigations, Benghazi style, into who knows what, but who cares? Because the main thing is to keep the GOP toxic base happy by persistently focusing on garbage and mayhem. This pathetic idiot is, of course, much disliked by anyone with democratic leanings, and by that I mean democracy as a philosophy, and also those who prefer that particular party in the US, in contrast to what this corrupt auctioneer has slowly become over the years, namely a shameless supporter of autocracy and fascism, as proved by the fact he is known to have been involved in the January 6th insurrection, even though now he's promising to subpoena everyone and everything. He was too much of a coward to respond to the subpoena issued to him by the January 6th committee in regard to what he was doing on that shameful day. In his chart, and despite his obviously nefarious nature, those Aquarius planets are going to help him to get along with his corrupt friends in the GOP House. And if you want to understand his aggressive and often vulgar nature, look no further than all those Aries planets to explain it. As for being a professional dissembler and gaslighter, go to that stationary Neptune at birth, squaring Mercury, and broadly squaring the Aquarius stellium in his chart, formed by Saturn, Mars, and the Sun. Nothing like Neptune to describe a professional liar, in much the same vein as the orange baboon he is always promoting and defending, as he too is so aptly defined by a corrupted Neptune that features constant streams of falsehood that come straight out of both their, well, where the sun don't shine. Now, I don't have a time for this rodent, and much though I would like to tell you he is about to go down in flames, or possibly crash and burn in some relatively near future, alas, on the information I have, it does not look that way. Yes, it's true that from here until the beginning of March, the astrological landscape is pretty choppy, because Saturn moves toward conjoining his Saturn-Mars-Sun stellium in February. But unless that's enough to take him down, looking beyond that, Saturn goes into Pisces and pretty much relieves the pressure until past the 2024 election. He's on his Saturn return and on his Jupiter return. So the positions of some leadership that he is getting are coming at a fruitful moment when a person experiencing these transits puts their flag in the ground, and then they go from there. But since the overall fate of the class of 23 House of Representatives looks extremely shaky due to pervasive chaos and incompetence, he may be planting his flag on likewise shaky ground, so that eventually this, what he thinks is a triumphant start, may come back to haunt him. This chart runs into heavy winds post the next election when Saturn goes into Aries, and right around the same time, the transit in Uranus will be squaring his late Aquarius planets. But in the meantime, unless, like I said earlier, he somehow flames out between now and March, he is most likely to continue to do his evil clown auctioneer act, irritating everything and everyone. The only other way to bring pressure on this chart would require a birth time with rising degrees in the first 10 degrees of mutable signs, so as to attract Saturn trouble in 2023, or alternatively, if the ascendant falls in such signs between 10 and 20 degrees, which would bring him down sometime in 2024. But to be honest, not only is that a relatively low probability, less than 25%, just given the total number of zodiac degrees possible, but even then, I'm not sure it would be enough for this creepy excuse for a man to face the accountability he so richly deserves.